Matt, it's the morning after. How does it feel to be the first evictee from Big
You
Brother
know,
6?
yeah, it's not the number one we were going for, Joyce, but it is one nonetheless. I'm feeling a lot of gratitude for my experience. I'm super thankful. I went in wanting to represent several different things. I hope I got to do so well. But I'm very thankful for this experience. I'm a small town kid. I really do live a normal life. I have a normal job. I live in a normal community. I wasn't like a model influencer. That my first time to LA was to come out here to do this. So I'm walking away so thankful and so grateful.
Mhm. How are you feeling going into the AI Arena comp, and how are you feeling playing it and then afterwards after you lost?
Yeah, I mean, afraid. I was feeling afraid. I know that that was going to be my moment to take control of my destiny. And I unfortunately did not win that competition. I was hoping it was going to be something a little bit more physically demanding, but it wasn't. It was mental, and so I'm so happy for Chemo. That was an awesome moment. So I'm glad he got it, and I'm glad he got that moment, even if it meant at the expense of my time in the house. But Kim was an amazing human being. We had some amazing connection conversations. And so I was very happy for him. But walking away definitely was scary and left me vulnerable. And nonetheless, is why I'm here today.
Mhm. And you were left up on the block with your guy, Kenny.
Yeah, super tough. And Kenney was wrestling all week, if he even wanted to keep playing. And when I put myself in his shoes, it's like, for me, I'm going home to, my roommate and my dog. Kenny's going home to his wife that he's in love with and his kids, and missing his daughter's birthday was very hard for him. And so he was even questioning, like, if, being on the block makes you think like that, would I actually rather just end it and go home? And so, that's where I get to go now. And I'm excited to do that. But I do wish I had some more time to get into play.
Mhm. Well, he was willing to throw the comp to you if he had the opportunity to. Would you have done the same for him?
No. I mean, honestly, like I came to play. Kenny's
Mhm.
an amazing man, and our connection was very real. I tried to build my game around Kenny as well, because my family is everything to me, and he stepped in. I mean, he reassured what he thought about me when, I was kind of after the situation with Angela, like it. I didn't really snap out of it for the most part until Kenny came, and he was like, "You're a fighter. You're not going to quit. You're going to keep going. We're going to figure this out." And nonetheless, like, people will always know who you are and who you're trying to be. And that meant the world to me, because his fatherly presence, really helps pull me out of that.
Hmm. I mean, the whole situation with Angela, like the crazy eyes rant and everything, like how did that destabilize you, and how did that force you to reorient your game?
It affected everything, honestly, because when things get personal, it's hard. That comment was hard. The crazy eyes comment was hard. If somebody referred to you as that, I'm sure that would be difficult to you, considering my heritage, my ethnicity. Like, it's hard for anybody. Attacking somebody's physical appearance is hard, and to be on the side of that was difficult. It affected my game up and down, and it put me in a position, unfortunately, where if anybody did think that was wrong, I was hoping that they would fight to keep me there, just to show that they don't approve that as right. And then later in the game, I did think that was kind of unfair to look at the game, that it's a lot more than that. But for the most part, I would have never done it. And I could have never done it. But it affected my game a lot.
Hmm. Did you mean it when you said you forgave her?
Absolutely. And you will never hear a moment where I am talking or communicating about it where you will hear any different. And if I do, I deserve the attack and criticism of all of BB Nation, because that will never happen. In light of even exiting the house and hearing about what's happening in our country, that we have got to move forward with a better method than hate and anger. And we have to. We have no other choice. And even in our situation, stand in the midst of that adversity and those accusations, I will always forgive Angela. And whether she thinks that she needs it or wants to accept it or ever wants to hear that out and also ask for forgiveness as well, I can control what Matt can control. I'm mature enough in my life to understand that. And the rhetoric has always been that I forgive Angela, and it always will be.
Hmm. Well, last night, like Julie told you that, Angela probably felt threatened by you saying that you could target her next week if you stayed. Like, do you understand why Angela would hold that against you?
Sure, yeah, I do, and because I mean, even for me to learn that she did view that as threatening in terms of the game. I look back and I did not mean it in that context, but I do understand that. I would, even if I was on the receiving end, I never would have translated that over into personal attacks. And I think she could have made the same move, removed from some of her comments, and I would have applauded. And being sitting here would have felt a little bit better knowing that I just got beat in terms of gameplay without any personal attacks involved. But that definitely changed a lot. And but I knew that I was going to try to withhold my integrity within that mix, and I hope that that was what was shown throughout it.
She also said she was upset that you didn't hug her after the nomination ceremony because everyone was consoling her.
Right, and she also said all I did was eat, and I told her I was like, "What was I eating? Like, what? Who cooked? Because like, man, it must have been good." Because in my mind, I thought I did. I still do. I'm like, did I? Like, I'm gonna kind of watch back and be like, I could have swore because I do remember her coming up to me and going, "Told you, son of a gun," and I was like, didn't that happen after that? Because didn't she not put me up and then tell me that? So I don't even know if that was. I'm gonna have to watch back, just like the rest of us. But
Everything blurs together.
it
So,
blurs. It blurs
and
for
you live in your
sure.
own reality.
Right, right. And but she was like, all you did was look at your food, and I was like, Angela, I think I was just hungry. Like, I should have hugged you, and I'm like, man, this my whole game was going to be contingent on me looking down, eating a bowl of food. Like, what? So maybe I should have just, fought through the hunger, and I'd still be fighting in the game.
Do you think you could have done anything differently this week to have stayed? Because throughout the week you did kind of feel like you had the votes to stay, but clearly you didn't, and it wasn't unanimous, but it was 8-3.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I think what I learned about how Big Brother should be played is that anytime you were on the block, you were vulnerable, regardless of what you think is going to happen. And I think that, I was naive to the fact that, like, hey, you really don't know if people are telling the truth, and then you start to watch how that can affect people in the house. I mean, for say Angela, how some of the narratives that she not even was just saying at me, but consistently saying to a lot of the people in the house were just, I mean, up and down and left and right. And for me watching that, I did not, always want to give such, autonomy to my thoughts and the narratives that you tell yourself. But at the same time, that's how you have to play. I think, looking back, like I'm curious, like if Mackenzie wishes that we used her upgrade, I never would have asked her to do that. But I'm curious if and what she did mention to me, she's like, she said if she felt like we genuinely didn't have the votes, that she would
Hmm.
use it. And
Yeah.
so I think that is a play that was left on the table that would have left me in the house and left us continue to work through, navigate, especially with Chelsea being HOH. That would have changed a lot. So that was definitely a move that I would make. Is there anything else? I mean, in the house, you start to feel like there's moments where when you come into a room and everybody slowly dissipates, like there's something going on. But again, after the week that I had and the mental toll of everything that had happened to me, and then later in the week, you start to say, like, you just never know. So I might as well just like take in everything as much as I can. And you look around and want to remember being in there and the opportunity it was for me. Like my time with Mackenzie could have been limited, and I wanted to like just hang with her. She's baking for a little bit, knowing that I may not get to, in a couple of days. So I definitely would have made some different moves, and maybe there probably was a point where nothing could have been done.
Hmm. Well, maybe another season they'll bring you back, first time evictees
I
season.
like that, Joyce. I like that idea. I like that
Second
idea. I like where you're
chances.
going. I like where you're going.
Well, Matt, it was great speaking to you today, and it was fun watching you for the week. Thanks again. Have a great day.
Thank you, Joyce. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.